welcome to Follow the Brand TV. I am your host, Grant McGaugh, CEO of 5-Star BDM, a 5-star personal brand and business development company. B for brand, D for development, and M for masters. Today, I'm going to take you on a journey through another deep dive into the world of personal branding and business development using compelling personal stories, business conversations, and tips to improve your brand. By watching the Follow the Brand TV series, you will learn how to differentiate yourself from the competition and build trust with prospective clients. As the saying goes, you never get a second chance to make a first impression. So make it one that will set you apart, build confidence, and reflect who you are. Building your 5-star personal brand is a great way to improve your skills and knowledge. If you have any questions for me or any of my guests, please email me at grant.mcgaugh@5starbdm.com. Now, let's jump into our next episode on Follow the Brand TV. Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the Follow the Brand TV show on the IBM TV network, where we are building a 5-star brand that you can follow. Tonight, I would like to talk with you in regards to technology and marketing. You will learn how to enhance your business's online presence and create greater engagement for your clients. A good way to do that is by using technology and the new tools available to improve your marketing and promotional strategy to connect with the right prospects at the right time. Marketing through technology is an evolving blend of art and science with amazing potential to elevate the brand experience and build powerful relationships. My guest tonight has utilized the latest digital tools to exponentially launch his services. We will learn more about his story, his company, and the services he provides to entrepreneurs and career professionals. Jerome Hutchinson Jr. is the founder and chief servant officer of the ICABA World Network, a technology and marketing company. The ICABA World Network is the world's leading online ecosystem dedicated to assisting Black professionals and entrepreneurs in achieving their career and business and life aspirations. Now, I would like to play a short video to give you a better understanding of the ICABA organization.
What can I say about ICABA? It is like the best experience I've had as an entrepreneur. My business has grown to what it is because of the relationships in ICABA.
ICABA is great. It's really a great incubator for connections and business relationships and educating new business people into the world of business.
What is ICABA doing? ICABA is putting you in an environment where you can rub shoulders, you can actually talk to wealth creators, to entrepreneurs who may look like you, who may come from circumstances like you, who may come from an environment like your environment. And then once you go ahead and grab that baton, you might say, well, this is possible. This individual over here did it, and now I can do it. So ICABA is raising our level of vision, and they're doing a fantastic job.
I'm Bill Pickard, chairman of Global Automotive Alliance, and I can't believe what ICABA has done again. Just wonderful people, very energized and very economically and entrepreneurially driven.
Hi, my name is Jerome. I'm the current president and CEO of the Greater North Miami Chamber of Commerce. I would say for anyone who's interested and who is looking to network and actually get value out of joining an organization, you will certainly see the value in ICABA.
I encourage everyone to come and just share and just be here and just get to know the people. You know, I've met some fantastic people, and my network has just grown tremendously, and my business has grown tremendously. And it's an organization that just believes in just people who have ambition, people who just really want to go after their dreams. Like, you really can do that here, and people here really support each other. So I encourage you to come. We're excited to support you and all our new members. This is just a fantastic place, and I'm so happy that Jerome executed this vision so perfectly.
And here he is live, Mr. Hutchinson. Hutch, we always call him Hutch. People that are endeared to him, that is I would say the community name is Hutch. I remember the first time I saw him, and it was at a NASI event. It's actually a collaboration here in South Florida. We were at a location, and he was, across the room from me. And some of my other friends were like, "Who is that guy over there?" And we're like, "I'm not sure. I've never seen him before." So, well, he looked like he's like, a vice president or a senior executive, or you might need to go over there and get to know him. I said, "Well, I'll go over there. I'll take a stab at it." So I go over there. I meet Hutch, and man, I had to tell him that your executive presence, exceeds you. And I've known Hutch, I don't know, it's probably been at least 6-7 years at this particular point. We've worked together. We've done a lot of different events together. And I wanted to bring him on live on the Follow the Brand TV today so you can get his story. A lot of the audience is around, they're composed of entrepreneurs, people that are looking to gain momentum in their business, utilizing different tools to enhance their reach. Now, Hutch has been doing this for a number of years. I'm going to say maybe 10 plus years as an entrepreneur, and he's been around the block. So I figure he might shorten your time to success by listening to Hutch's story. So Hutch, take it away for us.
Wow, Grant, thank you for that really generous introduction. I really valued our relationship, man. We've gotten to know each other. As you said, we've done a number of different things together. And I think there's nothing but a really bright future for opportunities for both of us. And first of all, too, man, congratulations on this new platform. Man, you are killing it. I love, everything that you're doing, the content, your energy, your knowledge that you bring to the table. And you've got just a killer package, in terms of your graphics and your the package has been put together production wise from our good friend Earl. And so Earl Lyons and Norwich Media Group. I mean, I'm so happy as I look at ICABA members who are collaborating, they're connecting, they're collaborating, and we're building a community of accomplished folks who are out there, doing it, as they say, doing the thing. I'll leave the other part out, doing the blank thing. We all know what I'm talking about. So you were asking me about, ICABA and how we got started and where this all came from. And, I can't talk about what I'm doing today without giving you a quick backstory. Okay.
Yes.
My mother was a supervisor for the Department of Human Resources in Louisville, Kentucky, my hometown. My dad was an entrepreneur. Both of them were civic leaders. My mother, as a social worker, was very committed to helping people. She started a charity that grew out of our kitchen, our dining room table. I mean, it got to the point that usually about October every year through the end of the year, we didn't eat couldn't eat in the dining room anymore because they did all their work on the table and they did so much spreading out and stuff. They were like, "Hey, look, we ain't taking this up every night and put it back out. So we're just going to have to find somewhere else to have dinner." And it grew into being a full-fledged building that was bought and actually named after my mother. And when she retired from Global Child, they had $250,000 in reserves in their budget, a great reputation. It was just doing great things. The building was paid for. Everything in the building was paid for. So she had a really great legacy. And my dad, he was the chairman of the first Black bank and the organizer of the first Black bank in Kentucky, and the civic leader, chair of the Planning and Zoning Commission. So I come from a rich history of committed, accomplished, if you will, folks in my family. And I became a social impact entrepreneur. So go figure, a guy who has a mother as a social worker and dad as an entrepreneur, I became a social impact entrepreneur. Who could even guess that would happen, right? And so my mom used to always say, "Whom much is given, much is required." And for we are our brother's keeper. My dad constantly preached economic empowerment, wealth building, and leadership. And, Grant, that's what I'm doing today. I kind of started, quite, if you will, it really evolved.
Hold on 1 second, Hutch. 1 second before you leave the Blue Hills, was it the bluegrass of Kentucky, and come out here to sunny Florida, you got into a little radio TV stand as well, right?
Yeah, you're right. So when we launched Kentucky's first black-owned television station in March 6th, 1996, and I was the CEO, and we got funding from what was known then as the African American Venture Capital Fund, and so a friend of mine and other folks I know, sometimes instead of calling a venture capital fund that, they're called sometimes vulture capital funds. Okay.
Okay.
Matter of fact, I had one buddy of mine that says, this venture capital stuff, it's like a sophisticated pawn shop.
Okay.
Interesting, if you will, description. But the reality is that the upside with venture capital is that you're operating with OPM, other people's money. The downside with venture capital is they take control. Okay. And so the cost of, not having to put as much of your money in, you give up control. And they had no real desire to see me build the station and grow it. They just wanted to get it on the air and sell it. Okay. And so we were, like bumping heads, all the time. And when I realized, what the game was, I decided that, I'd gone through a lot to try to make this happen. But once I realized what their end game was, I was like, well, wait a minute, I don't need to keep on fighting these battles. Or trying to go along with their game plan. I'm going to stand my ground and say, hey, look, this is what I told you I was going to do. So this is what I'm going to do. And they said, well, since that's the way you feel about it, then we're going to find somebody else to do it. So I ended up getting out of the TV station. And that's when I got into radio, Grant.
Yeah.
And so got into radio in Louisville, Kentucky. Ended up stations were bought by Radio One, and so they ended up promoting me, and I moved to Houston, Texas, to become the general sales manager of Magic 102, which was their largest #1 station actually in Houston at the time. And so I stayed there for a few years. Ended up getting recruited to CBS Radio's V103 in Atlanta, and so stayed there for a couple of years. And then, we ended up coming here, the Cox Media Group. And so with 99 Jams. So that's kind of the radio part of that as well.
Yeah, that's how you got to South Florida.
That's how I got to South Florida.
So 99 Jams, you're working at 99 Jams.
Yeah, my wife. Go ahead.
No, I was going to say, because you're online. And radio, TV, you're the backdrop. So you were making the magic happen, right? And then you get into this events world. I mean, how did all that happen?
Well, I first got really introduced to events in Louisville. One of the interesting things that happened in Louisville, I sometimes wonder what would have happened if the guy named Ross Love, who was the black guy who originally I worked for, who owned the stations in Louisville, he ended up selling out to Radio One. And about a month prior to him selling out to Radio One, we had a managers meeting in Denver. And a couple of months prior to that, he had asked me to take on a project. And the project was to take a look at what we call non-traditional revenue, which are, we called it NTR for short. Because radio, realized that just selling spots wasn't going to be the only thing that they could do going into the future. And they needed to be a little bit more diversified from a revenue standpoint. And so my job was to go to figure out where those other revenue streams would be. So I went to Boston to a conference and got into the internet and realized opportunity. And this is the one we're talking about right now. This was like 1999. So this really goes back, almost 25 years. And so I came back, made this presentation to all the managers and Ross at the conference that we had in Denver. He was excited and says, okay, good. We'll get back. We'll start talking about how we want to execute. And I'm probably going to put you in charge of the project and let you run with it. And a few weeks later, we found out that he's selling the stations. So all of the work I did, Radio One took us over. They had decided the internet was not in their future at that time. Okay, at that time. It's obviously has changed, but at that time, they decided the internet was not in their future. But the event piece was. And so I learned a little bit about events there. And then, of course, we moved here. And so, the folks here were doing events, but their events really weren't about generating revenue. They were just more about promotion and stuff for the radio station. So I introduced that element, of how we monetize and drive revenue in addition to what it would do in terms of marketing, promotion, and branding for the station. And so that's how we got into that. And then, of course, I ended up with my wife starting Who's Who in Black South Florida, which was our foray into what has now become the ICABA World Network.
Wow. Wow. Now tell us what ICABA stands for.
Great question. Here's the funny story. I brought together a bunch of folks who were helping me with getting ICABA off the ground back in the early days, 2008, so it goes way back. And so we had spent about 3 or 4 days together, and we'd done a lot of work, but we still hadn't come up with a name. And so we went to my house and had dinner, and we were having drinks. And so it was getting late, and we still said, guys, we still don't have a name. And so Diane Williams, and I don't know if you know Diane or not, but
No.
she's working with ChenMed as director of marketing over there, or one of the marketing regional managers. So long story short, she ended up being our director of marketing for several years. And she says, well, what do we do? We identify, we connect, we activate the Black accomplished. And so those were all the things that we had put on the board, in terms of what we do to try to figure out what was a good thing for our name. And so she took the first letter of each one of them, spelled out ICABA, and said, well, what do y'all think about ICABA? We all kind of looked around like, not bad. And there you go.
I never heard that story. I do remember, Diane, when you said ChenMed, it clicked for me because she works with Mark Dickinson, who I showcased last week, and see how this community of, it's this small world. It's a very small world, how all this comes together. But now you're saying ICABA also stands for an International Career and Business Alliance.
Business Alliance, yeah. But we have last year as if you will, a nod to our new direction, which we're going to talk about a little bit here. Yep. We're using we're not using, and we changed from the International Career and Business Alliance to the ICABA World Network, because our focus now is much more, if you will, digital, as you know. And so we thought that, a shift in the name would also help to signal that our focus is more digital than it is, in terms of just doing the networking and the business stuff that we have been doing in the past.
Excellent. Excellent. And I know you've done a fantastic job of branding the name and yourself. You've got a great following. I believe you had stated, or we will state, you have about 13,000 members in the ICABA World Network.
Right.
Correct?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And it's worldwide. And you've done a lot of different events, and you verticalize some of those events at very high profile locations. And I think they've been very, very well attended. Yeah.
Yeah, we've been blessed with people coming out. And I can tell you, all of you folks who are listening, there's one major key to any success. If you want people to support what you're doing, participate, attend, click, buy, whatever it may be, you always have to remember one thing. It's the what's in it for me. Not me as in terms of me, but as in you. You got to know what's in it for me for anybody who you're talking to. Because if you want somebody to, again, buy, click, participate in whatever you're doing, all of us, the first thing we ask is, what's in it for me? Why? Why do I want to do it? What's the point? What's the purpose? What's the benefit? And never, ever, ever lose sight of that. Sometimes, success can make us think that, oh man, people love me. They like what I do, and so you just start doing things that you like and things that you think that you want to do. And then you want everybody else to come participate in it. And that's when the slide kick gets started, in terms of losing your audience, because you lose sight of the fact that it doesn't matter to a certain extent what you care about, because you don't do these things when you're in business for yourself. You do it for the people who you're trying to sell to, and you're trying to get to participate in what you're doing. So always keep that what's in it for me front and center in everything that you do, and you'll continue to be successful.
Well, I'm going to say that that's where our worlds intersected. I was working with NASI, the National Association of Health Services Executives, to elevate Black healthcare professionals. You are elevating the entire ecosystem of professionals and entrepreneurs. So we naturally came together and saw that we aligned in our mission, vision, and goals. And you absolutely nailed it with the gap, the visibility, and bringing people together. I saw that same gap, that, you've got all these siloed professionals. They're doing great work, but they're not aware of each other. And we've got to bring them together. And so we're gonna go to commercial break. People are gonna see a little bit more about what ICABA is doing, and then me and you are gonna have a better conversation that includes our audience around how you utilize technology in your marketing to expand that reach and dissolve that gap that I just discussed. So
okay,
that's it. Let's go to commercial.
What if you could build your own city? A place where every child can find nurturing people to help them achieve their full potential. A place where every adult can access job training support. Where health education is abundant. Where social justice ruled the land. A place without limitations. Welcome. You have arrived at STEM City, USA. It is what every city should be. A safe and trusted community where you find people and resources to help you become everything you are and beyond. STEM City is unlike anything you have ever experienced. It is a digital twin of the world around you, only better. STEM City is about energy and soul renewal. It is more than a digital world. You can almost feel the power of live cultural events, music, and theater. STEM City promises a better future for children with caring mentors and hands-on activities with dedicated tutors to support our youth. STEM City is your passport to a healthy lifestyle with weekly events addressing our community's many issues. STEM City is your financial well-being with helpful information on wealth management, career advancement, job training, and so much more. STEM City is the community you deserve. It is the city where your dreams can come true. STEM City USA, a place in the sky that is accessible to all who reach for the stars.
La connexion. La connexion.
In a world obsessed with the cult of celebrity, I challenge you not to aspire to anyone else's greatness, but instead strive to reveal and ignite the greatness within you.
Are you serious?
I totally think that's it.
Hey. No! Hey! To me, sexy is a man that knows who he is and what he wants.
Okay.
He's comfortable. You look at him, you see him, he's just comfortable being himself. And you're like,
Baby, be you.
be you, baby.
Just be you. I like it. Introducing the Be You collection, exclusively available at K&G Fashion Superstore.
We need to bring up the man himself, Jerome Hutchinson Jr.
Well, I tell you made me a little nervous with that introduction. I was like, am I walking up right? I got a little swag with that introduction. Oh my gosh, folks, it's so good together.
It's also wonderful to come off of the screen and actually see each other and be able to hug each other and just offer congratulations on being women of impact. You know, we don't do the work that we do for the recognition or the award, but the reward is here when we get to look at each other's faces.
It's always a moment when you hook up with Hutch and ICABA, and this is our first event post-pandemic, So it's a pleasure to come out and show out and just have a great time and be able to serve some delicious hors d'oeuvres with this fabulous event. The work that Hutch does at ICABA is so amazing and so necessary that I'm just happy to support, man. And food is my love, so I share it with the people.
Our amazing ICABA leader and founder, Hutch, I mean, he's been beating this drum for years. In fact, the driving force behind ICABA's genesis was about who Hutch is, a consummate, amazing navigator of relationships.
So I'm expecting to connect with other business women and professionals.
It was fabulous. It was great to be around so many women who are making things happen, and I'm very honored to be a part of this.
I took care of the community by volunteering and helping those that need, and those that are not only in need, but those that don't have a voice. Because I always say that my mouth is big enough for those that don't have a voice.
So, Vicki Fraser Williams, my superpower. She brought a crew. She brought a crew. Watch out now.
I am blessed to have had a legacy left behind by my parents. And to me, they are the epitome of a good man leaves an inheritance to his children's children. And so now I want to be about doing that and helping other people do the same thing for their families.
It was a phenomenal night of Black excellence, and I just look forward to what ICABA will do in the future as we grow.
As the Senior Director of Strategy for PepsiCo, I work for a company that after Mr. George Floyd's death actually said they were giving $570 million to Black and Hispanic communities to support not only the people, the communities, but also business.
Our work is really about helping corporations understand the value of Black.
The reason I started Young Black and Professional was because I identified a need very early in my career. I noticed that when I was in grad school, I didn't get professional development like I should have got. I got a little bit of it, but not like I should have got.
Nicole has over 16 years of expertise in enabling technology and providing future-proof solutions for Fortune 100 companies. Please give it up and help me in welcoming Nicole Kilby. Looking good, Nicole.
So I am here with Camila Apolito, and she is one of our brilliant graduates at the Heisinger College of Business and Entrepreneurship at Nova Southeastern University through a program called Pathway Scholars for particularly high potential students.
Guys, you know, I preach all the time. It's all about relationships. It's relationships, okay? It's about relationships. And one of my valued relationships, one of my valued friends, Dr. Rudy Morris.
We've had a lot of people through the ICABA program go into our program, and we teach digital marketing courses. And so we've had a ton of people get within the program and get special scholarships with our partnership with ICABA.
You should be a member of ICABA so that you can expose yourself to the best opportunities to gain business, grow your business, learn your business, and build your business.
The biggest thing that I've gotten out of ICABA is connecting with like-minded people.
please put our hands together for every single woman in the room.
The joy of hosting tonight's Women of Impact with ICABA. It was just beautiful to see amazing women from across the country come together to be honored by such an amazing organization. I am so grateful for Hutch and everyone on his board and in his organization that took the time to pinpoint women who are truly making a difference. Continue to do the amazing work that you do. We're cheering you on and we love you. Thank you.
We enjoyed tonight. I want to say thank you to all of our honorees, all the attendees, everybody here who's with us, both in person and also virtually. If we made a mistake, tell me. If we did something good, tell the rest of the world.
Amazing. Amazing. I think the audience got a little taste of what it's like to be at an ICABA event. And I want to take people back because there's a lot that has to take place in order for something like that to be, first of all, impactful and to be successful and memorable. And that is what Jerome Hutchinson, Hutch, has done for a number of different years. So we want to talk about how did you merge that the science and the art to come together with technology and marketing to have a show of that magnitude?
Well, Grant, as I watched the clip, I knew you were going to ask this question. There's two things that really pop into my mind right away. The first one is when we moved to South Florida in terms of my family in 2005 and endeavored to create a publication called Who's Who in Black South Florida that was going to profile the most accomplished Black professionals and entrepreneurs in the South Florida region. And we had been here every bit of 2 minutes. We were still trying to figure out how to get the public. So, without making a bad term, much less no. So, it was a very ambitious task. And they say start with the end in mind. So I'm going to tell you the end. And I'll never forget one of the notes that we received back after the event from somebody that says, I don't know how two people who've only been here for less than a year could have put together an event like this that was sold out with over 600 people in attendance and brought together all of these people from all over South Florida. I've never seen anything like this before. How'd you do it? And congratulations, it was great. It was that type of comment. And so here's what happened, man. The first thing is you start out what you don't know. Okay, because many times we start from what we know, and we start working on that. But you also need to do an inventory on what you don't know. And what we didn't know was the South Florida market. So we said, how are we going to get to know the South Florida market? And even worse, not only did we not know the market didn't know us, right?
Right.
So, so I said, okay, well, who do we know? So I knew two people. Out of the radio station. It was Dexter Bridgman and Bill Diggs.
Yeah.
And,
nice. Two great people.
Hey, I got to tell you, man, I met Bill Diggs when they did a welcome reception for me at one of the restaurants in Miami when I first got here. And then I met Dexter from, knowing Bill. And at that time, Dexter was doing his, it's not the Legacy magazine he does now. There was another one that he was doing before, something in Miami. But anyway, let me keep the story going. So the bottom line is that we said, what is it that we really need that we don't have? And that is the people to know who we are and know where to find the people. So what we did was we asked both Dexter and Bill, hey, can you give me a list of, 5 people that we could go talk to? And one of the first things we're trying to do is to identify somebody who would be the forward writer for this new publication. So we knew that was like a key high profile, person that you needed. And that ended up being the guy now, Robert Beatty, who owns the South Florida Times. And at that time, he was a general counsel for the Miami Herald. And so we went to talk to him, but we also, got this list. Every time we talk to somebody, we got referrals. Now, how many times as a salesperson, a marketing person, you always drill into them, referrals. So everybody that we talk to, we try to at least get 5 other people that we could talk to. And so that's how we began to build. So we ended with the relationship with Robert. We found enough people to put together an advisory board. Robert and his wife was gracious enough to host the advisory board meeting at their home. Okay. And so we got great people like, Rudy Moise and Nelson Adams and Yolanda Cass Jackson, and kind of go on and on and on. Okay. And some of those folks are still involved with us today, and that's how we got started. And the other thing that we did was we knew that the South Florida market is somewhat territorial. If you're in Miami people don't go to Fort Lauderdale. For a lot of people don't go to Miami, and nobody goes to Palm Beach, right? So instead of trying to figure out how we were going to get people to come to us, we did an event in Miami, we did an event in Fort Lauderdale, and we did an event in Palm Beach.
Smart.
So
smart.
Instead of trying to get the mountain to come to Muhammad went to the mountain. And some of those very basic things that we did, Grant, was really key to our success, because people got to meet us, we got to meet them, and they saw that both me and my wife was the lead as the publisher for the magazine. I think they felt like, hey, these are pretty decent people. They seem like they're trying to do a good thing. They've come at it, with respect. They've come at it with a degree of quality and excellence. Let's give it a shot and see what they do. And so one of the people that we got involved was a guy named Dorsey Miller. I don't know if you know Dorsey or not, but Dorsey, over the years, was one of the major players here in South Florida area. Used to be the national president of Mega Sci-Fi. I mean, this guy was really wired. And so people like that just really embraced what we were doing and made it a whole lot easier. But from a branding standpoint, let me also tell you what's key. Brand association. When people don't know who you are, they will know you by the company that you keep.
Right.
Okay? And we were very intentional about getting into the right circles that we knew that would create an opportunity for the people that we wanted to know us to associate us and see us by virtue of who they saw us being associated with. Okay? So when we did that was one of the reasons we did the advisory board. I can't tell you how many times that Pam and I would go to a meeting and we're introducing ourselves and we're talking about what we're doing. And people going like, yeah, okay. And then you say, well, let me share with you some of the people who are supporting us on our advisory board. And we go to the website and we pull up the advisory board and they go, look, oh, I know Dorsey. I know Rudy. Are they on your advisory board? Just the same way my voice just went up, their whole energy level changed. Okay. Brand association. Okay. I tell you another great story that went along with that. We had somebody we had talked to who told us that we wanted to get JM Family involved. You know how big JM Family is here in the South Florida area. And the lady was a consultant with JM Family. Could you say that again? Sorry, that was my watch talking back to me. But JM Family being really big here in the on the marketplace, their consultant that we talked to say, hey, listen, you guys are doing a great thing. I think it's really cool, but they never do anything in the first year. So, I'll be glad to introduce you, but I'm just telling you, they typically don't do anything the first year. We said, okay, hey, all they can do is say no. So we went in and tried. And so they met with us and, they were polite, never said no, but they definitely didn't say yes. So we'll get back to you. We know how to get back to you can sometimes work out. But here's what happened. Every week or so, I would send out an email to everybody that we were talking to and give them an update. Just say, hey, we just added a new person to the advisory board. We just finally got our first sponsor. We got a second sponsor. We got a couple more people on the advisory board. We got an event coming up here. We wanted people to see that we were active and that we were doing things with people that were recognizing. Our very first sponsorship came from Burger King. When we first got started, a guy named Clyde, I was hearing Clyde Drexler, but anyway, but here's the story that really makes the real hit here. Here's the punchline. So one of these days that we were doing these emails that were going out, we had a really good week. I think we got like Bank of America and like two other really major companies and a couple of really big name people come on our advisory board. And so I sent it out. And right after I sent it out, I got an email back from my contact at JM Family. Said they wanted to meet. And I was like, because, this was before the days of Zoom, so we always have in-person meetings, right? So we went in, and they ended up being a sponsor the first year, And I know that I'm telling you, it wasn't the email hadn't gone out probably 5 minutes before.
You had a great plan. I love the strategy. The strategy was tremendous. I'm glad you're taking us through this story so people understand And then I want to tie in some technology to this story, because your branding, very successful. Your marketing, because you already knew print, you already knew radio, you knew how you needed to approach the market. Now you just needed to connect with the people. But then you've also got savvy. You brought something else up, because the last 2 years, we've had to get more technically savvy. You're forced to get technically savvy, right? And I've noticed with you, you are a great email marketer, but you've also now pivoted into search and social, and you've built out an incredible website, or I would call it the ICABA World Network, the community that you've got 3 different sections on, and you obviously do great presentations, great video representations of the company, and so you're well-rounded. Take us through that part of your story.
Well, you're absolutely right. You've got to really use technology to the fullest extent, and particularly for any small business person. Okay. One of the things about radio is the theater, of the mind. That's what we call it in the industry, because you can't see radio, you can't touch it, you can't feel it. So radio has to make you visualize whatever it is communicating to you, to make it as real to you as possible, because the only thing that radio has is sound. That's it, right? So the words, the expressions, the tone, and the reflections, inflections, all those kind of things have to create theater of the mind in your head to make you really connect with the message that's being sent out, okay? And also, we have to be as personal and as relevant. You got to feel like those jocks that you're listening to in the morning, afternoon, or on the way home. Those are like your buds, your boys, your girls. They really are like part of the family, and they create that personal, if you will, emotional connection and bond with you. And they do it by talking about things that are relevant, that is part of your everyday life. So when the guy tells the joke or tells a story, you're like, man, yeah, I did that just the other day. I was over there at that same place. So you're creating that. That's what you have to do as it relates to being a small business marketer, or even just a marketer, period. Not necessarily a small business, but I know you have a lot of small businesses and entrepreneurs, founders, and so on and so forth listening to your show. And so you were asking, so when you talked about the email marketing, one of the things that we did early on that people weren't doing, and still amazes me, don't do it as much as they should. I mean, we would always use the ability to customize emails through things like Constant Contact and MailChimp, and always say, "Dear Grant." I'd never send out emails without, and then they made it possible for you to put it in the subject line. So now when you get emails like, "Hey, Grant, my boy, what's up?" But everybody likes to be called by their name, and so why is it important? So I'll give you an example. We did an event in Atlanta in 2014, and we did this event saluting Atlanta distinguished achievers, and so I never forget the head of the city council who came to give us the key to the city and to receive an award that we were giving him. When he got to speak, he said, I got this email from this company out of South Florida talking about this event, and I just kind of dismissed it and kept going. And then I got another email, but this email, came from McGaugh Southwell, and McGaugh Southwell at that time was the head of the airport in Atlanta. So I'm like, well, what is this about this event? These people out South Florida come from McGaugh. I said, okay, I passed on that one. And then he said, then I got another email, and it had Zernona Clayton, her name on it. And then next thing I know, I got a call from Zernona. And so I'm like, man, I better pay attention to what's going on here. But inherent in all of that, okay, was we were using brand association. We were using customization. We also were using high quality, if you will, presentation. I mean, man, if you want somebody to participate in something, it's just like food. I mean, if you want somebody to come to your restaurant and tell people how great it was, when that food comes out, or even when they show it on the menu, it needs to look good. It needs to look appetizing. You can't put something that looks like crap and expect somebody to order it, right? Right. When you present yourself, you want to present yourself in a way that somebody wants to be a part of that. The world is aspirational, okay? The world wants to be part of something. Success, nothing succeeds like success, right? Everybody wants to be a part of something that's going great and they think that's going to be really good for them. And so what I never forget was we had a sponsor in Atlanta, Celebrity Cruises. And we put this event together in about 3 months. And when the event was over, I asked the Celebrity Cruises manager to give me a testimonial. And she said, I'll be glad to. She said, I can tell you this now. I was thinking this before, but I didn't want to say this to you. And I said, well, what was that? She said, I really wasn't sure how a company in South Florida was going to put together an event in Atlanta, okay, in 3 months and get the kind of people to come out that you said that you were going to bring out, and you did it. So, yeah, I'll be glad to give you a testimonial.
Success sells. That's right.
But one of the things we did when you talked about the email marketing was, again, going back to the advisory board thing that I was telling you about, again, brand association. Before you know me, you know people that I know you relate to.
Exactly.
So we had, 12 people that we had gotten to serve as a host committee for that event. I asked each one of them to give me a list of 20 people that we could invite. So now I've got 240 people on that list. And, we had some other lists and whatever. But what we took the time, and this is where you got to also, you can't be lazy with this.
Mm-hmm.
We took the time that when we sent the emails out, I didn't send the email out from Jerome Hutchinson at ICABA. I sent the email out from McGaugh Southwell to the people that he told me that knew him.
Nice.
So the chance of that email getting opened to the people that know McGaugh coming from McGaugh was much higher than the email, being open to the people that knows McGaugh coming from me, right? And so for everybody who was on our host committee, all the emails that came out came from them, okay?
That is so savvy. Very, very smart. I mean, I'm gonna give you an A+ on that one. That's beautiful marketing and utilizing a technology platform to enable that thought process, your customer journey. We're gonna take a short break right now, and then we're gonna come back and we're gonna talk about some of the events you got coming up here shortly. Does that sound good?
All right. Sounds good.
All right. Take us away.
I attend ICABA events as often as possible because the connections and the networking opportunities are immeasurable.
With BB&T, we're proud to sponsor ICABA and continue to sponsor ICABA. A wonderful event today with wonderful speakers, and I don't see how anybody could have come here and not taken away some sort of valuable nugget that they need or can do to connect with other professionals and to help their own business.
It's always an honor and a pleasure to attend ICABA events. I always learn a lot, and I look forward to attending more.
Well, I know everyone is enjoying the show thus far. You are learning from someone who's done it, who's come to a whole different city with a whole new platform and was successful with, first of all, he had a great strategy and he had great partners. And then they executed on their vision, utilizing what they knew, and then whatever they did not know, they made the connection to that knowledge. I think that was wonderful. So Hutch, walk us through what's happening now. What you got going on?
Well, right now we've made the evolution, and when you have a vision for something, we all know that it's not usually a straight line from, vision to reality. A little zigzag to the left over a mountain, an obstacle, or whatever. And so one of our visions was to build the global digital or online community for Black professionals worldwide. And so we got a little delayed, in that, in terms of when we started out. I mean, we launched the business right in the midst of, or right before the big recession in, 2009. And so we spent a few years just trying to hang in. But long story short, during the pandemic, again, talking about having to deal with, obstacles. Going into 2020, we were really excited. We had a great Global Hall of Fame event in September of 2019 that was giving us momentum. And we were just really geeked about the opportunities to grow in 2020. And then COVID hit. And 95% of our revenues and our operations were centered around in-person events. So that was done. Capiche. Our last in-person event at that point was February 2020, and that was it until April of 2022. And so part of it was, what do you do? So God gave us the opportunity, the time and everything to say, well, you keep saying that you're going to build out this digital platform. Now you got time, so go do it. And so that's what we did. And so we've expanded with the ICABA World Marketplace, which is really a matchmaking platform, bringing together people who are interested in providing supplier diversity opportunities with people who are looking for supplier diversity opportunities, people who are in companies and organizations who are providing talent diversity opportunities, but talent who are looking for opportunities. Folks who want to see a diversity in our leadership in this community and communities around the country, and folks who want to be a part of that diverse leadership, matching them together and bringing them together through our digital platform where those opportunities are exchanged and people are able to take advantage of them. So that was one of the things we did with the marketplace. We also launched the ICABA World Community version, 4.0. And so that gave us additional functionality, and people are able to connect, share, find each other, communicate, see about events, groups, and so on and so forth. And so that's what we're up to. It's about, for us, growing this global, if you will, community about connections, collaborations, and community. And I think that, one of the things I've realized was I think that we may have been a little bit ahead of the curve back in 2007 when we first launched. But today, I think the marketplace and what ICABA does is well aligned in terms of, looking for folks who want to connect, who want to collaborate, who want to build community. One of our wealth managers was just telling me the other day, he says, since the social unrest with George Floyd, he said he's really seen an uptick in, Black folks wanting to work with his firm to do business with him over where it was, before the George Floyd murder and the social unrest that happened as a result of that. So not only have we seen, folks in terms of the mainstream community want to do things, I think we as people are trying to do more. So we're really doing that. We've got a couple of events coming up next month that I want to share. Hopefully, if that's okay.
No, go right ahead.
So we're doing what the one event is called Unmuted. It's a kickoff meeting and reception, and we're launching an initiative that's going to be a transformative process. And I talked about how we connect the opportunities with the people who are looking for them. So Unmuted is basically bringing the community together and say, hey, you now have a platform. So folks, you say that you want to give and provide opportunities for business, contracts, leadership opportunities, executive positions, and access to capital. Well, then we want you to come together with ICABA, and we're going to work together to make that happen. So that's what Unmuted is really designed to do. And that's going to be happening July 19th. July 29th, we're going to do the ICABA Salutes to Men Awards Luncheon and Leadership Summit. So we're recognizing 15 leading Black men throughout the country who are really doing great things, including the only Black governor in the United States of America, Albert Bryan, who is the governor of the Virgin Islands. So he's going to be one of our men who lead. Our keynote speaker for the Leadership Luncheon is Dr. William Picard. He's a multi-millionaire, just business mogul, philanthropist, author, speaker, and we are just really excited to have him on board to be the keynote speaker for that. Other individuals who are going to be recognized. We're going to do 4 breakout sessions after the leadership luncheon. And so that's going to be really exciting with some really key people. We've got our major sponsor is Truist, and Tony Coley, their regional president for the South region of the United States for them, is going to be speaking on corporate leadership, along with Russell Benford, who is head of government relations for Royal Caribbean. We've got Todd Billings, who is going to speak on wealth creation. This guy has bought and sold over $1 billion worth of real estate in the past, 8-9 years. So he knows a little bit about wealth creation. And so we got a lot of great things happening, things coming up over the next couple of months.
Well, I tell you, Hutch, I encourage everyone to go to the website. I believe it's www.ICABAworld.com.
Worldnetwork.com.
ICABAworldnetwork.com.
Right.
Okay.
ICABA worldnetwork.com.
Beautiful, beautiful. You have a beautiful, just a wonderful organization. Love working with you. Not only do you have these events coming up, you've had a world-class Black Professionals Month, your Black, BPM. You've got what you call the BOB, that's for Black businesses. So one's for Black professionals, other one's for Black businesses. Just you're covering the bases. But I love the fact, the vision is it's a one-stop shop. If you've got corporations, you know what? I want to do business with Black businesses. I've got money. We've pulled together our diversity, equity, inclusion. We've got budgets out there. We've got money earmarked to make sure that we're doing business with Black professionals and entrepreneurs. And I need to know how to find them. ICABAworldnetwork.com. So with that said, this has been a wonderful, wonderful session. I am so glad that you were able to join me on the Follow the Brand TV. I'm telling you, a lot of the things that I do and a lot of the imagery that you see that I put together came from the association that I had with the ICABA Network World. So thank you very much, Hutch, for coming out tonight. And I want to thank everyone for continuing to tune in to everything that we're doing. You can tune in to me at www.5starbdm, and that's B for brand, D for development, and M for masters.com. Thank you very much, and see you next week.
That's what I'm here for. I'm here to show that it is possible to work hard, study hard, and be able to accomplish whatever dreams or aspirations that they may have. I serve here as a mentor for our Black Male Initiative, which is Mu Beta Tau. And what we do, we try to, encourage minority male students to continue, not drop out because of things that may be out of your control at home or on the job or whatever else is going on.
think that, as Grant said, I think entrepreneurship is definitely the most important aspect, because if we're creating things and we're not creating things that we can benefit off of, or that our children can benefit off of, or that our communities can benefit off of, then, what is the point of existence, right? If we can't manifest things that are ultimately going to make our lives better as well as those around us. And entrepreneurship at its core is ownership. And without ownership, without owning and being able to turn your creations into assets, then, we're really just behind the ball. And so, it's my hope that that I can inspire young people, as well as those that may be mid-career and those that may be at the end of their career, to actually think about the field of technology and to think about the opportunities that exist, the low barriers to entry. All you need is a laptop and an internet connection to get in the game. And so hopefully, my experience can be encouraging to others, that you don't have to have, all these credentials, etc., to really produce and to surpass those that may actually have credentials as well.
5-Star BDM, Brand Development Masters, is a professional consulting and advisory group keenly focused on business development services for the small to mid-sized business and entrepreneurs. Although every business is unique, they often share business development challenges that can be addressed through smart branding. Services include process improvement and operations, digital strategy and transformation, business intelligence, digital marketing, and personal branding. Our business and personal branding company has helped a number of professionals and organizations to optimize and grow. This results in more business, more opportunities, better reach, positive outcomes. Visit www.5starbdm.com today to learn more.